until 3.3. So let's go on. If I look 3.3, it's number D, where we have to calculate the rent expense for March. And the information they give me is they say, I don't know, rent. The director secured premises in a local shopping mall with enough space to cater for the expected number of customers. Rent is charged per square meter according to the floor area. I usually go into a total anxiety with this. But this is when they start talking squares.
Yeah.
But breathe. A square is just a unit. Okay? So you work it like units. So now they say, the rent increased 11% per year commencing April. I need to calculate March, meaning they give me April is 39,960, but it's already including the increase. Now, the following figures were identified. Now, can you see April and March was both the same square meters? Okay? So we don't have to go, if it weren't the same, I would have had to go calculate how much it is per square meter. Okay? But it didn't change. So now, what do I know? This is 111. You agree with me? No? How did I get it? If I say March plus increase gives me April. March is 100. The increase is 11. Ne? So it means April is 111. They gave me April. You see? So I'm going to want March, but I have April. So what does it give you? Sharp. So the next question, number 3.3, they say refer to F and H, rental and customers. The owners of the property informed the directors of the increase in rent planned with effect from 1st April. In order to economize on rent, the directors asked the owners for a reduction of the area rented from the 1st of May. Propco Limited agreed to this request. Calculate the reduction in the area rented. You see, this is what gives me nightmares. So let's first just do a breathing. In 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4, and now we go. What do they give me as info? Can you see that my customers is increasing? Okay. So how do they do it? They say they do it to cater for the expected number of customers, and they want to reduce. You see, now I go total panic. So let's go to the memo, because I can't, when I see things like that, I go total panic mode. Can anybody help me with it? And I'm on record, so that you can go through the panic with me, because you have to see that everybody's got a panic button. Okay, so it's memo. Where's the memo? There's no memo. There we go. Okay. So what would I have done in the exam when I get this panic attack? Because I really get it when I see things like that. What would I have done? I would have moved on. I would have left it, because it makes me so scared. I don't know what to do with it. And actually I do. Once I see it here, I'm going to know, oh. But I feel totally. So let's see, there's the rent expense. No, but that's not the question. What was the question? In order to economize, calculate the reduction. Oh, it's 3.4. I missed 3.3. Okay, I missed 3.3 where they asked me, comment on whether the consumable stores have been well controlled. So let's just go back to some, can you see? Now you've seen me alive on a panic attack. Let's yo, no, this thing here. Okay, consumable stores, comment on whether the consumable stores have been well controlled. Ne? So now let's go look. What is the huh? Am I wrong? Oh, I'm still here. I'm running ahead. Oh, okay. Okay. Shoo. Pure panic attack there. Here we go. Explain the decisions that the directors took regarding the budget and actual expenditure for advertising. Now we think linking. Ne? What do we link advertising with? Sales or the amount of customers. Ne? So they say G and H. So let's look. What's my advertising? My advertising is an increase of 12. Ne? It's more. We spent 12,000 more. Okay. My sales went down. So what would you say? Okay. I would say my advertising increased. Is more than 12,000. It didn't increase because we spent 42. We spent 12,000 more than budgeted. But our sales dropped worth what? 80,000. Our sales is 80,000 less. Now I want to ask you something. Did they only do sales? Is that the only business they have? No, they also got the current income. Ne? Can you see there's the fee income? The fee income increased with 6,000. Okay, so now let's go see what they did. If they did the percentage thing or if they just said that. They say advertising increased. How did it increase with 18? From 12 to 30, where do they get that? Let's quickly look. They say G and H. So let's see advertising. Oh, can you see what they did? Is they looked at the budgeted. But that doesn't make sense.
What information are we supposed to use?
That's what I'm also thinking because they say G and H. Okay? So if you use G, you would say they budget for advertising to be at 18,000 more than May. Right? And then if I go look at the sales, we budgeted for the sales to increase as well. Yeah, but that is they are looking at the budgeted. But it's not wrong because the info is there. Remember, we've only looked at the first dot. Ne? So they say advertising budgeted increased by 18,000. So that gave you 2 ticks. Then they say the actual expenditure exceeded the budgeted with 12. So they didn't do any link in this question. Can you see that? That's weird. But also remember, this is a 2020 paper. So the attendance, the way they ask it has changed a bit. Ne? So the way they would mark it now in 25 would be that you have to link it with sales or current. And then there will be a definite thing where you can see, oh, the one increased and the other decreased, or both increased, but percentage-wise, like we did it in 23 and 22. Okay, you guys get it. So what they did here is they quoted from G ne? The budget, and then they quoted from H, the budget compared to the actual. So that's the 4 marks they got there. I'm saying, in the new way that they ask it, I would have compared the budgeted of advertising with the sales and say it's not well controlled. That's what I would have done. Okay. Ooh, Mondays are not a good day to record. Okay, here we go. Next one. Next one says, the directors ask you for a report on the effect that the advertising decisions actually had on customers and sales. Can you see they tell you what to comment on? There's your link now. Okay, provide 2 points that you would include in your report and quote figures or calculations, and then explain how the decline in the national economy has affected the average amount that customers spent 2021. Okay, I'm going to rather be safe and pull up this. So can you see what they did is they looked at, if you will see definitely that sales customers is more, is less, but the fee income customers is more. Can you see what actually happened? Is you can say the number of customers in total is more. But if you go look at the sales, it dropped, but the fee income, it increased. So in other words, your customer base changed. People no longer come to buy new things. They rather bring their old things to be fixed. Can you see? So that's what you need to comment. So now, what do they want? They want a comment on the customers, né? And they want a comment on the sales. Remember? That's what they said. If I look here, they say, comment on the customers and the sales. Can you see they didn't ask you to comment on fee income? Okay, you guys got it. So now, can you see it's 4 marks? I don't know what I'm doing. There. It's 4 marks, meaning, yeah, it's 4 marks, and they say 2 points, quote figures. Okay? So, what am I going to quote? I'm going to quote, first of all, the customer base is more, and then I'm going to quote the sales is less. See? There. Is this the right one?
Yeah.
Oh. The customers was 135, 25 more. There's 2 ticks. The sales were less by 80. There's 2 ticks. And you don't have to say by 80. You can say sales budgeted 770, actual 690. There's 4 marks. Okay. Next one. They ask me, explain how the decline in the economy affected the average amount customers spent, and then quote figures. So it's exactly that which I said. People will spend more on fixing stuff, né? So now it's 3 marks. So you're going to give an explanation with figures. So what they did here is they said the average sales was budgeted. Now they go to per customer, 7,000. But it actually dropped to 511. How did they get that 511?
The total sales divided by the...
Exactly. They took, if you look here at the rent, né? Here at the rent, they say to you, you expected 110 customers, but you actually had 135 customers. Remember, if there's an option between a budget and an actual, you always use the actual. Okay? So now I take the actual 690 divided 135, and that gives you the 511. Okay? Now, I don't want to submit anything. Okay, so now that's the first thing they say, it's the customers. Be careful to use the same answer as you have already used. Always try not to duplicate your answers. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is they talk about the fee income. If I read here, more customers were repairing dresses rather than buying because the fee income is more than budgeted. Okay. Okay. Now let's go to the consumable stores. They asked me, comment on whether the consumable stores have been well controlled. Now, if I look at consumable stores, what do I link consumable stores with? What will I link consumable stores with? That's what I use to repair the dresses. So I will link it with what? Fee income. I will link it with fee income. Yay! Okay, so now let's see. I budgeted 4,200 of the 15. Ne? What does that give me? 28%. But I actually spent 5,520 and I got 21. And that gives me what? Can you see the percentage decreased? Okay, so what will I comment? I will say it was well controlled. Ne? Now look there. For 1 mark, comment which shows that consumable stores were overspent without being compared to the fee income. So if you only comment that the consumable stores you spent more than you budgeted, you'll get 1 mark. Okay? No mark. If you show that consumables were overspent without... so with 1 mark you give figures. For no marks is you say exactly what you said for 1 mark, but you don't give figures. Then you don't get any marks. But for full marks, you say budgeted 28 was 26. Okay, I guess it's only 2 marks. My goodness, for all that calculation. And here we get to the one that we want to do. And let's see if I am more relaxed by now. And that I can think. I always, you know what, I've been doing this paper for how many years, and every time I get to this one, I like, I don't know why, I really don't know why. So let's do this. So I'm not going to look at this one. Let's look at this one. Maybe they give me something else here. They give me my rent expense decreased. Ne? It's less. Why is it less? Because we use less square meters. Ne? Okay? So what I'm thinking is, how much less is this? Seven? Okay, so for that I should get marks. But now my question is, what did they ask again? They want to know calculate the reduction in area rented. Okay, so now we need to know how much is it per square meter. Is that right? And then I can divide it by per square meter, the rand value. And that I need to calculate here. So for 7,000, ne, for 80 customers. So there, can you see for the 7,992, there it is. Okay, then they took the 39, that was the budgeted, is that right?
Yes.
The budgeted, and they divided it by the budgeted customers. No, by 120. Okay. Because budgeted for May, they budgeted, why do they do it by 120? Yeah, but how do we know May is still...
The rent for
Oh, okay.
they take
You see? Oh my goodness, I would have gotten 0 for this thing. Because I'm just getting so flustered here. So let's have a look. So what we did, okay, we got the reduction in rent. At least I got that. 1 mark. I'll get 1 out of 4. Then I divide. I have to go look. I use March. Because remember, the rent, or even April. Ne? Did they give me April? Okay. So, how did you get it? You took that one for May, and you divide it. I don't understand how you divide that by 120, because you haven't reduced it yet.
Isn't it how much we pay per square meter? For April.
Yeah, the 333, but why do they use the budgeted for May, the 39960?
Isn't it how much we paid off in April, the 3996? Look at information we check to see.
Ah, can you see those two are the same?
Maybe you don't see on the screen.
That's what threw me. Those two are the same. It's not this one that they used. It's this one. They used that rent expense for April. And I knew that was 120 square meters because at that information they give me here. You see? Okay. So that's why I took that one, not this one. That one. Now it makes sense. And it divides by 120, then you get your square meters. Rand is 333. Ne? You paid 7992 extra. If you divide that, you get 24 meters. How many of you got it right? Okay, but please go through it again and again, because actually now that I look at it, I'm like, why did I tense up so much? Ne? I don't know why. But it happens. Okay? Okay. So next time it happens, is you put up your hand and you ask someone to help you in the exam. That's what I... You just ask if you can see the memo quickly. Oh my word. I'm talking nonsense.